Howdy, howdy ho. Narrative. A representation of a particular situation or process in such a way as to reflect or conform to an overarching set of aims or values. Facts. Yeah? Well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Review scores don't matter.
I had fun, that's all that matters.
Ignore the reviews, play the game for yourself.
That last one is particularly heinous, trying to convince people to buy a game simply because the review scores are too low. The story is that integrity decreases as the review score decreases. That's not how it works. I may have talked about reviews before, but today we're gonna go a little deeper. Yeah, well, the middle of the scale is a 5, so 7 is still a good game. 7. Ha! Mediocre trash. First, let's get one thing out of the way. I looked and I couldn't find the study I read a long time ago, but the average human intelligence when tested over a given subject is about 68% correct. Yeah, humans are kinda dumb. When instead taught the material in a learning environment focused on intelligence development, aka school, that average goes up into the 70s. This is why one of the most common grading scales puts the average between 70 to 79%. You can see the student does not decide the scale by which they are graded. Knowing this, the score the reviewer gives is based on their scale and is not open to interpretation by the viewer. And while I do understand the different scales used around the world, the viewer does not simply shift the scale to fit their narrative. It's salty because that pretty much only happens when the score is lower. Naturally, I also understand that the most popular review aggregate sites have to apply a sort of unified scale to best account for variable worldwide review scales, and the reality is that there is a core issue of not all reviewers agreeing to a standardized global scale. This is where you, the viewer, have to do a little bit of thinking. Thinking on the internet? Yes, I and many reviewers use the more common grading scale. Yes, it is not the same around the world. Thus, you need to actually watch or read the review to know the scale being used. So far, things are fairly balanced in the world of reviews, though. I haven't found the lack of scale unity to create anything other than a few outliers. The aggregate may be in the low 70s, but you'll only ever really find a handful of reviewers that define that as good. Most reviewers will define the low 70s as, well, average. Opinion. A view or judgment formed about something not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. This one's going to be a tough pill to swallow for a lot of folks, and the idea that reviews are opinions is one of the most problematic statements I've seen going around. A proper professional review will be devoid of opinion as much as possible. If I say platforming is wonky and I show my character teleporting around unintuitively like a magnet, that's no longer an opinion. If I say the frame rate dips when the action heats up and I show how the frame rate dips when the action heats up, that's no longer an opinion. A good reviewer will be able to prove what they're saying, thus eliminating conjecture. Is this always 100% possible? Of course not. Are there bad reviewers that spew more opinions than factual analysis? Of course. But to dismiss all reviews as opinions is factually incorrect. It is a duty of a professional reviewer to be as logical, analytical, unbiased, and unopinionated as possible. Yes, a little of ourselves comes out as a human, a little hyperbole here and there, but at the end of the day, the summation of a good review is based more in factual analysis than opinion. Look at the score aggregate. Watch reviews. This is not about agreeing, this is about understanding. Smart people use reviews and dissect them to get as clear a picture as possible about what they're getting into with their money. Smart people spend their money wisely, and as I've said many times before, sometimes having more money is not about earning more, it's about spending less. Be smart, understand your review score so you know what you're buying, and quit the console review war crap. I'll see you next time on the Gaming 5.